Hello, boys and girls again. Woo! I've been working out today, boy. Woo! Guess what, guys? Guess what? Whew. I've been working hard today. I'm trying to get physically fit. Yes, physically fit. But guess what? That takes work. That takes discipline. Okay? All right, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Discipline. Okay? And let me ask you something. When you talk about discipline, what do you think people mean? What comes to your mind when you hear the word discipline? Now, a lot of times, I know when we hear the word discipline, the first thing is, oh goodness, what did I do wrong? And what kind of punishment am I going to get? But guess what? We're going to look at the flip side of discipline. There's another side to discipline. This discipline I'm talking about is when you discipline yourself and how you will get rewarded. And it takes work to be disciplined, okay? All right? Now, we're going to be coming to you today from the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, okay? The first chapter, verses 5 through 20. I know a lot of you have heard about Daniel and the three Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Okay, all right, well, today we're going to be talking about Daniel and how well Daniel was disciplined, okay? All right, now in the book of Daniel, he and his friends were forced from their home and made slaves to serve a pagan king. Their birth names were changed, and they were expected to completely disregard their Jewish training. Daniel and his friends disciplined themselves to only eat food by God's law. They took the risk that God would supply all of their nourishment and strength just from eating vegetables and water. Ooh, vegetables and water. Can you imagine that? But they did. You know, I used to hear a lot about how you've heard people talk about the Daniel fast? Okay, and then, it's so many ways we can fast. But guess what, guys? It takes discipline. It takes lots of discipline. But anyway, so they ate the vegetables and drank water. Okay, now, however, as a result, Daniel and his friends did better than everyone else in the king's palace, including the king's advisors. Okay, so in other words, Daniel and his friends, they got rewarded. Okay, they got rewarded. They did as they had been doing. They and it turns out that they looked even more healthier. Okay, all right. Now, so that brings us to story time. Okay, and today's story, it says stay on course. Stay on course, which that's what discipline is all about, staying on course. Okay, so let's see what Robert and Warren has going on. Okay, Robert and Warren they were good classmates. They were pretty good buddies. Okay, and Robert and Warren, they used to hang out together in the neighborhood, laughing because they was just having a lot of fun together, goofing off half the time. Okay. However, Robert wasn't doing so good in his classes, and his father threatened to take away some of the things that he enjoyed. And if he didn't pull his grades up, a lot of his privileges was going to be taken away from him. Okay, so Being that Ron and Robert were running buddies, on the other hand, now Warren was doing good in school. Warren was doing good in school, okay? But Warren was also the funny guy in the class, all right? And he knew everybody, all right? One day, Robert was on his way to study at the library, and he ran into Warren. Have you ever tried to, you was on the right path to try to do the right thing, then up comes somebody that's always interfering with what you're trying to do, especially when you're trying to do what is right. Okay? All right, so he ran into Warren, and Warren was jokingly asking him, "Where you going, bro, with that heavy backpack? Because I know you ain't going to do no work." All right? Now, Warren wasn't used to seeing Robert with a bunch of books. Robert told him where he was heading. He told Warren that he needed to really study. Now, this is around the time that he and Warren normally would be hanging out in the neighborhood. Now, Robert had to think hard because Warren said, "Well, man, you know we normally be going and hanging out." But Robert, he thought real hard, okay, and long about what he was about to do, okay? But he made a very wise decision. He decided he was going to go and study, okay? Warren noticed that Robert had changed. "Okay, you gonna study? Well, but for the better now," okay? He noticed that Robert had changed, but it was for the better, okay? And Warren was actually very happy about it. But you know that sometimes we got these friends that they're not going to encourage you to do the right thing. Just so Warren happened to have been a good friend to Robert. But you have people who will not encourage you to go to the library and study. Because of selfishness, sometimes they will tell you to do the opposite. Okay, so Warren was actually happy for his friend. He even volunteered to help Robert and his study. Now, that's a good friend to have. And we all need those kind of friends. We can see how Robert had to discipline himself, although it required making a tough decision. But guess what? Mission accomplished. Okay? All right? Ask yourself, what things you need to do to discipline yourself? Okay? And set some goals for yourself. Just think about it. Set some goals for yourself. What can you do? It's always something that we can do, whether we're in our home, wherever we're going. We all need to be disciplined. No matter how young you are, you need to be disciplined. No matter how old we are, we all need to be disciplined. So here's the exercise, guys. I want you to go home and I want you to write this down. How many hours a day do you watch TV? Are you always into the television? Now, if you spend half the day watching television, what is that saying? I mean, do you actually get stuff done? How many hours do you play video games? What about spending time hanging with friends? What about shopping? I know a lot of people like to shop. Or what about how much time you spend on the internet? So I want you to take time, take a notebook, write this down, okay? And when you take that notebook and write this down, write the amount of time you spend doing those things that I listed above. And compare it to the time you spend reading. Do you read your Bible? Do you read your homework? Do you read a book, a magazine? Are you reading? Do you pray for others? Do you? Do you ever stop to think to pray for someone else? Your friends? It doesn't matter. Do you pray for them? Are you telling other people about Christ? Do you tell people, hey, come follow me. Let's go to church. How much time do you spend doing that? And you may find out that you need more discipline to reach the goals that's set before you. Thank you again, class, and I look forward to seeing you on the next time.